WDSE.edu. See what's next.
The ruler of Duluth's graphic media empire, a dance with the pros and the rhythms of the Brothers Burn Mountain. The playlist is next.
Funding for The Playlist is provided by the citizens of Minnesota through the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
Tonight we have the pleasure of sharing the studio with the Brothers Burn Mountain, an experimental folk duo making the tracks across the country. We'll meet Ryan and Jesse and hear their music later in the show. But first, let's get inside the imagination of Duluth's graphic media mogul, Brian Barber. Critics describe his style as quirky, energetic, and distorted with a certain sweetness. Brian has great drawing skills and a sharp sense of humor.
I'd start out with a round head on one and stick the ears on it, and I knew I wanted her to have glasses. Then the nose and mouth is always kind of a challenge, how you want those to go. Oh, I think faces are the most fun because that's where you can sort of instantly get a personality. My name is Brian Barber, and I'm an illustrator and designer and animator. Everybody likes dogs, so yeah, animals usually have the best personalities. You know, one thing about the style is it's sort of intentionally wonky. It's like the line and the color and stuff is a little rough around the edges. And working on the computer, it took a while to develop that because it's very easy to make very clean shapes and textures and stuff. But I think I've figured out a way to kind of give it a little rougher edge or a little more handmade feel that, to me anyway, makes it more interesting. I think it's recognizable, but I don't know what I would use to describe it.
He has a style that's immediately recognizable. I do think it's sort of the equal parts whimsy and asymmetry and just a touch of nostalgia to a time that I didn't even live in that just sort of jump out at you and scream, hello, I'm Brian Barber.
So usually what I'll do is scan in the sketch and clean up all my junk from the scan here. It took a while to get the eye-hand coordination between drawing down here and looking up here. Then usually the first thing I'll do is over the pencil sketch, just put down sort of a base of color. One of the first steps is just, you know, rough in something for a background because you know, you don't want it to look like it was cut out and dropped in there. You know, I know most people can tell this is digital, but I still try to get some of those imperfections around the edges that look like the paint kind of slopping over one way or the other, or some of that texture between the different parts of it. Well, I guess I've always tried to make it not look like it was done on a computer. Well, this actually, I really enjoyed this part of it. If I can put on some music and just kind of, you know, spend a couple hours getting lost doing this stuff, that's the good part of the job, I think. When I was in school, I never really understood the fine art stuff. I'd rather just draw goofy looking people and big bulgy eyes and stuff.
Brian just finished illustrating a kid's book called Henry, You're Late Again. It'll be out in bookstores before the holidays. And for our playlist gallery this week, we have artwork from Brian's personal collection. You can see more images and watch the show and add your suggestions on our website, theplaylistonline.org. There are also links to arts events and our Facebook page and Twitter online. Check it out. We'll be back right after this.
Hello, I'm Patrick Colvin, and I'm the musical director for Fiddler on the Roof Jr. at the Playhouse.
He's really great working with the kids, and this is the perfect, it's a book musical, so there's a lot of story involved and a lot of storytelling through music, so it was a great collaborative project for both of us to kind of come together and work on.
The challenging thing, and also one of the most rewarding things, has been the sheer number of children involved. 45 kids on stage and in small rehearsal facilities can be very challenging, but also very amusing.
It's a really great representation of the children's theater from start to finish. We've been rehearsing since the last week of August, so we just jumped in right as everybody was heading back to school, and this is the season opener for the children's theater.
Yeah. Crossing. Make sure you're setting up your right hand. My name is Jacob Yonker. I teach guitar at UMD, and I'm here to talk about the Laura Young classical guitar concert that's taking place on Friday. This is the first as part of a collaboration between UMD and the Minnesota Guitar Society to bring international world-class classical guitarists to play in our hall. I mean, this is an internationally recognized classical guitarist. She's won numerous competitions, including the Andres Segovia competition in Spain, and you're also getting to experience it in Weber Hall, which is just a wonderful hall for guitar, a very intimate setting. The Weber Hall, 7:30 p.m. this Friday, October 22nd.
Inspiring, intense, and moving. The Minnesota Ballet Company is all of these things and more. The dancers are great artists and passionate about an ephemeral art form.
You really feel alive when you're using your body. You're out there performing. It gives you so much energy when you know there's an audience out there. My name is Avi Gold, and I am a company dancer here with the Minnesota Ballet. Originally, when I was 8 years old, my Little League coach told me to go take this free stretch and strength class at a local dance studio. Eventually it stuck, and at 12 we decided to quit Little League altogether and just become professional dancers, and we all did.
For me, it's really invigorating to get new people in here with, new attitudes and new ideas and just fresh energy. My name is Suzanne Kutzberg. I've been here for 20 years, so I'm kind of part of everything.
The thing with dance is you can become whoever you want to be at that moment, and you get to, if you're shy, you can be outgoing. If you're timid, you can be glamorous. You can be just transform yourself into another character, and it's just really wonderful. My name is Carrie Gold, and I'm one of the new dancers here. I just think the first class I took, and that was it. It was all over. There was nothing else that I was going to do. So I was 13, so old to be starting, but I just fell in love right away.
My name is Ben Biswell, and I'm just a company dancer here at the Minnesota Ballet. We all kind of have the same status or whatnot. We're all equals. It really started with an individual giving me the opportunity. My first teacher was Laura Luzica, and she just kind of said, "You want to try it out?" And I was like, sure, not knowing what it was going to really be like, and just fell in love with it. Just keep your mind open. You never know what is going to touch you or what is going to be communicated to you through the dance. And that's what I love about it so much.
It's not like a painting that you can admire for 100 years, but there's just something that it really touches the performer deep inside, I think, for myself, and hopefully at least a few audience members out there, it touches them as well.
To use our bodies as our instruments and to be able to communicate such a vast amount of things to our audience in combination with the music is really a unique experience that I think everybody, especially Duluthians, should be a part of.
It is so fun to watch and to see the movement and the grace that you guys have. Thank you so much for coming in. Robert Gardner is the artistic director of the Minnesota Ballet, and Suzanne Kritzberg is one of the principal dancers. And we're so glad you took the time to come in.
Well, thanks for having us. We actually just came over from the theater.
Well, this is a busy season for you guys.
Yes, it's the start of our performance season, yes.
And it's really an exciting time to be a part of finding out what's going on in the community. And to have a professional ballet in our community is kind of a coup. That's a pretty remarkable thing in a community our size.
I think so. You know, it was the foresight. The company actually began as a civic ballet company in 1965 here. The foresight of a group of arts-minded community members that wanted to have dance as part of the cultural atmosphere here in the community, and it grew from that into the Duluth Ballet Professional Company, and then the Minnesota Ballet to reflect our status as probably the most prominent classical ballet company in Minnesota.
And Suzanne, you are a member of the company, and how many dancers are there?
There's about 12 of us altogether.
And how hard, as the artistic director, do you, Robert, lead the rehearsal and the studio time?
I do. You know, we are a smaller organization. Ideally, I would have some other people on staff. Suzanne helps me out, but she's still at the top of her game performing. She is my leading ballerina, so she helps with her knowledge, but she has to, rehearse and prepare herself as she does this weekend. She's going to be our Sleeping Beauty. So I sort of do it all myself, yeah.
Yeah, well, and hopefully there's a few other folks that sneak in there, and you have some great volunteers that are part of the cast.
Yes, we have a wonderful board, and well, we have a wonderful staff, that helps with all the running the business, and I have to do the fundraising as well as the artistic content of the company so that we can have these wonderful performances. So.
Yeah. And not only do you do fantastic performances, you also do classes. You also can take ballet classes through the Minnesota
we have the school of the Minnesota Ballet, and so
you are busy.
We are busy, yes. And Suzanne teaches that. She actually teaches an athletic dance for young men's class that's very popular. She was trained in Chicago by a very wonderful teacher, Mr. Larry Long at the Ruth Pace School, and he thought that the women should be able to do everything the men should do, and Suzanne certainly can. So she's really wonderful teaching that and spreading giving her art form to our young kids. So.
And in the piece that we just showed, Avi talks about, one of your dancers talks about his Little League coach said, go take some dance. And do you have kids that are not necessarily, aiming to be ballet stars, but are coming for other reasons, for sports?
I don't right now, but we've had both in the past. Right now, the boys that I have are actually boys that have grown up a little bit more through the ballet school, and so they're a little bit more groomed.
Sort of like, Avi said that, where he sort of just decided to do it, and we've had downhill skiers and soccer players and things like that, and that's why we started the class. But so right now Suzanne's got young men that are very interested in the art form itself.
Yeah, you told me when we talked that you were a tomboy.
Oh,
so
I was.
It doesn't have to be,
Well, that's why I liked it, the jumping and the turning, and that's, I relate to what the boys do, I guess, because of that.
Well, you're amazing athletes.
Thank you.
All of the dance company is pretty impressive. So tell me a little bit about Sleeping Beauty, because I know you're not sleeping at all right now.
Well, it's my production of Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty was originally done in the mid-1800s in Russia, so it was one of those big imperial Russian ballets. And I wanted, with a small company, it's harder to do these big ballets, so I did my own version, and I wanted to set it in medieval times. And Catherine Marsa did the costume designs, and Ann Gumper built us a wonderful castle with a working drawbridge. That was one of my first things. I said, I want a working drawbridge on stage. That's like the big thing. And so I got my inspiration from the medieval room at the Metropolitan Museum of the Art. I did some research at the Tate in London, and So, and that's where the idea came from. So.
And how hard is it to dance? I mean, you are Sleeping Beauty.
Yes, it's a difficult role, I'm not going to lie. But rewarding all the same.
It's one of the tests of a ballerina. That's one of those roles that tests a ballerina because it's a full-length role. You know, she's in every, she's in every scene, and she grows up through the ballet, and so she has lots of variations. She dances with all the men in the company, and finishes out with a very virtuoso pas de deux with the Prince Charming. So.
Wow. I mean, physically, I mean, you're not doing a lot of Sleeping Beauty.
No. But we do enough. You got to get your sleep, though. That's very important too, to be able to get through a show like that. So it's hit or miss.
But it's also a very theatrical show. You know, our spinning wheel has a glowing spindle that she pricks her finger on, and our evil fairy comes out in a burst of flame. So it involves all the elements of live theater. So
well, it's going to be a beautiful production. I get to tell people when it starts. What, on Saturday, right?
On Saturday, yes.
The Minnesota Ballet production of Sleeping Beauty debuts Saturday night at the Deck here in Duluth, and there's another performance on Sunday afternoon. It is going to be a busy weekend, so thank you both for coming in to tell us about it.
Thank you.
What a fun weekend. Be good.
Okay.
Sleep.
Do what we can.
All right, well, silk painter Lee Zimmerman and cellist Kathy McTavish are busy plotting a live art experience on their own large scale. Take a look at their rehearsal for the Brave event.
Well, tonight's a trial run for the Brave event that the Domestic Abuse Intervention Programs is hosting on October 23rd.
As part of the program, I'm painting 30 feet of silk from behind. What will happen in the end is the whole 30 feet is going to be sectioned off into 6 paintings, and those paintings are going to be quilted by Kathy McTavish, who's a well-known, actually world-renowned single-piece quilter.
On the night of October 23rd, Kathy will be playing the cello and Lee will be painting. Sheila Packa, who's the poet laureate, will be telling stories and poetry, telling the story of our 30 years of history, and we'll have some other guests coming in as well.
This will be kind of the backdrop to it. The chance to get to paint something this large that quickly is just joyous.
I mean, really to have the artists make this huge donation of time and talent. This is really once in a lifetime opportunity to come and see this painted live here.
I'm really excited about it. I think it'll be really fun.
Lee is planning to stream live video of the event, and you can find the link on our website. And now please welcome the Brothers Burn Mountain.
I've seen a transparent wing dissipate in the northern winds. I've seen the hand of a star hold a burning leaf to the sun.
That is really cool. That's a big sound out of two people. Awesome job.
Thank you.
That's really cool. So Ryan, we want Ryan Dermody and Jesse Dermody. You really are brothers.
We are. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the way.
So does that help or hurt when you're making music together?
I mean, it helps even when it hurts, because we kind of, being brothers, we know how to get along, but we also know how to not get along.
The friction is a good thing, I think.
Yeah.
It helps propel us in our motion of the love of music.
Yeah, and we don't need to, when we're playing, we don't need to speak to one another to explain things. We can just do it and feel it.
And that intuition, I was teasing you earlier about finishing each other's sentences or being able to, you know, when you describe something, you can finish and fill in, and that's got to be helpful in the creative process.
Yeah, it's helpful to be able to, in my mind, finish Ryan's thoughts or his musical ideas, but to have the ability to finish them without finishing them and letting him do it himself without interfering. That's what one of the little things I've learned.
Okay, who is the little brother and who's the big brother?
We're equals.
Yeah, I'm older.
He's older.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how did it come to be that you were playing music together? What's your background?
Well, I was in a couple bands as a youngster, and then one day Jesse came home from a trip from Brazil with a bongo, and that's what kind of spurned us into our rhythms and our music.
Yeah. We couldn't help ourselves.
You definitely have a lot of sound with truly just two instruments, but it's a huge sound. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, very cool. So where does the road take you next? I know you spend some time traveling around.
We're going to head down to Illinois, Kentucky, and then eventually Nashville in November.
Awesome. And thank you for taking time. The current disc that's out is The Brothers Burn Mountain, Partly in Blue, the White. And it's a beautiful album. The music that you've already played is on this, as well as the song that you're going to play for us next, right?
Yes.
Yeah, well, safe travels, and thank you for coming in. The Brothers Burn Mountain are back in Minnesota in December, and they're playing dates in Northfield and St. Cloud before coming back to the Twin Ports for New Year's Eve. They're doing a show at the Red Mug in Superior, and they'll play one more for us before they go, and we'll be back next week with the music of Yeltsin and the painter Sue Pavlatos. Until then, have a great weekend, and go out and support the arts. Gentlemen, it's yours.